Hey, well, I think this lighting will be pretty good for this video. This is a video that goes back a ways now. It goes back to the early 2000s. In there, back in the early 2000s, I was a friend of some people that were living in the bottom part of a house in the country. They had rented the bottom part of it, and then there was an apartment above them that was rented by a woman. And this woman had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend used to beat her up and everything. And the boyfriend was a paranoid schizophrenic, and he was taking handfuls of pills he was buying on the street and using a lot of cannabis. And he was batshit crazy, this guy. And she was a typical of a lot of women that I've met over the years, where she thrived on drama. So he was a perfect match for her because she could be a victim, and he'd beat her up, and then there'd be all kinds of drama around that. The thing is, too, the guy was a rat. The guy was a police informant. They were giving him bills which they had copied the serial numbers down to and getting him to make drug buys with this money. And then they'd go in and arrest the dealer, and the dealer would have the bills on him, so the dealer couldn't very well say that he didn't make the sale. This is the stuff that was going on. And of course, he'd be allowed to keep a portion of the drugs that he got in the deal. Maybe they keep a little bit for evidence, but he'd get to keep some of it anyway. And basically, in exchange for that, he was a protected man. He was allowed to go around and commit crimes and get away with it. Well, at that time, I was a criminal too. I wasn't a criminal in the sense that I was preying on people, though. I was a criminal in the sense that I was a vigilante. And this guy targeted me because I'd go to visit my friends, and in his paranoid and deluded state, he thought I was trying to take his girlfriend away from him. Which I wasn't. I wasn't attracted to her. I didn't want anything to do with her. I would say hello to her if I saw her in the driveway or whatever, but that was about it. I wasn't actively trying to do anything of the sort. But he thought that everybody was trying to take his girlfriend away from him, because that was just part of his paranoia. And he was making death threats against me. And then, on top of that, it was coming back to me that he was telling people that he was an angel of death who had been sent to the earth to kill the wicked, and that there was a list of people he was to kill, like a hit list that God had put in the book of Revelation that only he could see. And my name was on it. So that's what I was dealing with. And you got to bear in mind, in those days, I was a pretty tough customer, and I'd been through a lot. And I had made up my mind in my early 20s. I'd made up my mind that nobody was ever going to screw with me again. And basically, I made up my mind that I would kill another man before I'd even allow him to give me a black eye. If somebody came at me and aggressing against me, I would take their life if I needed to. Anyway, after several run-ins with this guy, and after being harassed by the police, because the police were mad at me because I was upsetting him, because he had reported me to the police for bothering him by going and visiting my friends. He found that disturbing because, again, he thought I was trying to take his girlfriend away from him. And so I was being harassed by the police. They were trying to tell me I couldn't visit my friends anymore because this other fella didn't like it. And so, anyway, I started following him around, and I made a book. I kept track of his movements, and I just very stealthily followed him around. I wrote down everything he did. I got into his truck at one point when he wasn't around, when he and his girlfriend had left in her car, and I got his driver's license and a bunch of other information about him. Wrote it all in the book, his full address, his full name, his date of birth, driver's license number, everything. Of course, he didn't know how I got that, so I figured that'll freak him out. And I gave the book to his girlfriend, But there was one time when I was compiling this book, I was following him around, and I'd also made up my mind that if the opportunity presented itself, I'd just take him out, because he was threatening me. So I said, well, I'll take the bastard out. Anyway, he was at the Canadian Tire gas bar one night, and he was filling out the papers or whatever to buy lottery tickets. He was at the little lottery stand there in the gas bar, and I'd been following him around. I saw him in there, and I decided, it was dark, and I saw where his truck was parked, so I knew where he was going to have to go to get back to his truck, and it was a dark spot beside the building he'd have to pass through. So I decided I'd ambush him, and I had a big wrench with a spike sticking out of it, and I was going to bring that down on his head, and I was going to beat him to death there by the gas bar. I was going to murder him. I was going to do that in order to make it clear that I wasn't to be effed with, and also as a middle finger to the police. It was a way, because, yeah, this is a protected person of yours, so I'm going to kill him, just to let you know how little fear I have of you people. So it was basically putting my middle finger up to the police too, you know. And so what happened is, and this is the kind of criminal I am and was, I had a little dog in my car, a little toy dog, that belonged to the little girl that lived across the hall from me. And I thought, after I kill this guy, the police are going to tow the car away, and that dog was given to the little girl by her dad, and she's going to lose that dog, and it was important to her. And I had it there because I'd fixed it for her. It was a kind of a mechanical thing that would